I will do this or die trying is a lesson that I learned back in 2008. So I was, I just got back from serving a proselyting mission. I was what 20. I was in my early 20s, and I was looking for a notebook. I was exhausted and I was tired. Was depressed and I didn't know why. I was in this loft. My family had moved to this new location, so it was a home that I wasn't familiar with, and I was looking for a notebook of mine that had been put away in a box because I'd been gone for 2 years, and I was depressed. I didn't feel like doing anything, and I was looking for this and I had looked for it in these different locations and couldn't find it, and I was getting more and more frustrated with myself, frustrated with life in general, and and I was laying there on the floor, catching my breath because for some reason I was out of breath, and it was like, do I really want to find this notebook? I feel like giving up on it, type of thing. And I don't know why, but at one point I was like, I really want this notebook, and I am going to search for it till I die. I don't care how tired I am. I don't care how exhausted or frustrating or depressed I was in the moment. I'm just going, this is my goal, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to stay focused on this no matter what. It's my goal. And as soon as I made that commitment to myself, I had the energy. It became my quest. When the you watch those stories of people on the hero's journey, or my favorite one is La Manche, I think it's called, or it's to dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow. So that song is the perfect song of expressing in music what this commitment is of I am committed to this. And when I made that commitment, I was filled with energy. And yes, my body was still tired. And yes, my life did not change much. But because I was fully committed to it, to finding this notebook, life changed. I was enthusiastic. I was empowered. I was transformed in the fact that I felt like the universe was rooting for me at that point. I know that sounds so weird, but and when I also did that, all of these new ideas of where the notebook could be started showing up in my mind. And surprisingly, it was the very next place I checked, and it was there. And that lesson, I have applied it to so many other things in my life, where when I feel discouraged and overwhelmed, I basically sit down to myself and go, what is it that I'm committing to? What is it that I want to accomplish with my life, no matter if I live or die doing it? What is that thing? And what is the next action step to that thing? And that has been such a life-changing moment for me, because it helped me realize that if I'm lacking in energy and desire to do something, it is because I have not committed enough. It is because I have not set my whole life to it. And that might sound crazy, especially for something so as simple as finding a notebook, but that finding that notebook meant the world to me because it was the thoughts and ideas of what I wanted to do with my whole life was in that notebook. And in fact, it was the very first book of thoughts. And I don't know if you've watched in the back of my different videos, but there's where I talk about my book of thoughts. Let me show you my most updated one. This right here is my book of thoughts. I have kept a notebook like this for years, ever since I was 14. And for those who don't know the story, when I was 14, I was very depressed, and I was sad and discouraged about my life. I felt like my life was going nowhere. And I heard a quote somewhere. I heard a couple of different quotes. One was, thoughts lead to emotions. What you think about ultimately is what controls what you feel. And you can debate that all you want, but believing that helped me to identify, okay, so my thoughts control how I feel in many cases. Now, the other thing that, the other quote that inspired me then was, at age 14, was, what can be tracked and measured can be changed. So I decided to create a book of thoughts. Now, this isn't the first one. This is like the 20th. And I don't have the first one out. It's packed in a box somewhere. And from that moment, since I was 14 on, I kept a book of thoughts. And that's been another huge life-changing moment for me. And it helped me identify the thoughts that caused depression for me. And it helped me identify the thoughts that lifted me up and gave me energy and power and life. And I've kept at it, like I said, for generations. Here, let me pull out my other one. Here's just some of them over the years since I was 14. This is like probably half. This is half of them right here. I have so many. You can see where they've kind of evolved over the years. So these ones are different covers to them. I settled on this cork cover because I buy the notebook from Smith's, and then I change the cover. I add covers to it because I loved this cover. And so I went to Michael's, I think it was, and bought a cork cloth, and I've now used that for the cover of my books from that point on. So now I have this was one of the very first ones, this black one, for all in cork, and that's my plan, is to have them all be this cork cover. But anyway, I hope that inspires you today, that if you feel like you are discouraged and depressed and you don't have energy in the day, find something you can commit to. Find something where it's like, I'm going to do this thing whether I live or die doing it. And let me know what that is. So have a great day. Cheers.